What's up, guys? Phantom here with episode 5 of my F1 2019 career mode, as we are going to Baku and Azerbaijan for the 5th round of the 2019 season. So we move on to Q1 here in rained qualifying, in which I haven't had much experience in the rain in F1 2019, so I'll be pretty slow around the circuit and probably won't get out of even Q1 because it's just not, especially around Baku, it's not very forgiving. As we come around here, as you can see, we're pretty far off of Vettel here as we come through the last sector and onto, I guess, be the front stretch, but we're not quite there yet since with these two corners here, as we almost lost it through those two corners. We come down the mega long front stretch here to complete our lap, as we're already way far down and we'll be P15 with 30 seconds left. But after all that, we will start dead last. We couldn't even beat Kubica in the Williams. As I said earlier, I'm just not very good. But we won't actually be last because Norris will have a time, I think it's a 10 spot penalty, 10 or 20 spot penalty for something mechanical. As we move on to the race here with 5 lights, and they're out, and very short run down to turn 1 here, so really not looking for any positions, and we're actually trying to get to the inside for turn 2 here, as we just let Norris come through and try to dive bomb here and get some spots, as Stroll is able to hold it around the outside, and we kind of squeeze Kvyat as we slot into P18 as we come down to the middle sector towards the castle, and we're able to dive bomb Albon right before the castle section here, as this is a pretty, as we locked up and almost ended up in the wall there. Luckily not to, as we're behind Kubica coming down the front stretch, and Stroll, who managed to get in front of him in that sector. As with our Ferrari engine, as we've been upgrading it, it's quicker. It's almost as quick as these Mercedes down the straight, and he's gonna squeeze us right up to against the wall, and he's able to hold it around the outside, and we actually hit the inside, and luckily we did not lose an end plate. As we move on to lap 3 here, Stroll's putting Hulkenberg under pressure here into the last true corner of the lap, as we're kind of pushing Stroll through these last 2 sweepers, as we pull right and then he pulls right, so we pull back left, and he tries to get back in the line with Hulkenberg, and we get a slingshot as Vettel is out of the race. So I think he was in 3rd position at the time, as you'll see him there straight on, parked all the way there in the back of turn 1 there. He was coming down the front stretch and just blew up out of nowhere. So he'll park it all the way back at the end, actually turned a little bit to turn 2, and then we'll pull all the way back to the wall here, just park it there. As we come on the lap 4, as we're now behind Russell here, coming onto the front stretch, as we'll get a pretty good slingshot here from being this far back with the assist of DRS wheel easily, but Stroll kind of like slowed down but was coming there for a hot minute, as we're able to keep the position. Kind of lost the back end a little bit there turning in, as we will now be on the receiving end coming down the front stretch, and this Haas for some reason is burning gasoline at a crazy amount. Like, I've not been in rich maybe once at all for a little bit, and I don't know what Stroll was doing there, as Russell's able to get by us easily, but we've lost half a lap of fuel basically being in standard for 6 laps. It's ridiculous, as we come back down the back stretch here on Russell. So we're going to pull to the inside and be forceful with it and kind of make a little bit of contact, but we're able to get back ahead of him coming into the middle sector as our teammates in the pits. As you'll see, as there's a lot of cars in the pits, and we will be in P5, P4, as Leclerc is coming out of the pits, and he's on brand new soft tires with our old mediums. We actually started on the medium tires, so we're going to go long. As you can see, it's lap 9, as we'll pit at the end of this lap and try to make the softs work for us, as he is right on our back. So we're just going to pull off to the side here and not even worry about him being on our tail, as Butler is drag racing us as we're going to pull into the pits here at the end of the lap and nearly hit the wall and then barely get it slowed down coming into the pits. As we'll see if we can get a good pit stop here and make sure we leave as soon as possible, and it's a pretty clean stop. 2.6. As you can see, we're down on fuel and we nearly went across the white line there. We got on the rumble strip. We got a warning from the stewards, but we are behind Norris and in front of Albon. As we come down the backstretch, Kimi Räikkönen is out of the race. As you'll see, same thing as Vettel, was just going down the straight and blew up. As it actually, Grosjean was right behind him and actually got blocked a little bit because, you know, they aren't smart enough to go down the inside. As you'll see him right there ahead of us, is we'll now get P13 out of it, as there are 3 cars ahead, but now there's only 2, as who's ever up there is starting to pull away from Norris and Ricciardo, as we're getting a really good launch and pulling Ricciardo down the straight, even though he has the tail on Norris. And Norris will also defend, but we're going to go down the inside, and this time we were really forceful with it and actually made significant contact and actually lost out to Ricciardo as well, as we're not able to get that good of a run because we were fiddling with our ERS and fuel mix too much. As we come down here, as Norris locked up a little bit, and we're going to look to the inside and kind of dive bomb, and he kind of shut the door / like turned in a little bit early, as he was able to keep the position, as Norris actually got back in front of Ricciardo coming down to that awkward like 30-degree left-hander, as Albon is starting to join the party onto the last lap here, as we're able to get by Norris and Ricciardo. Here is we're going to have to go around the outside at turn 1 as we brake later and able to make the corner, and we'll be able to make it, as Lewis Hamilton will win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix as we come home in 11th place, but really 13th because 2 cars ahead of us DNF'd with engine failures. So I don't think you can really call that 11th place. We weren't really that close to the points at all, as Mercedes are celebrating along with Lewis Hamilton, who won the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. As you'll look, Bottas comes in 2nd, Leclerc's in 3rd, and Sergio Perez finishes in an amazing 4th, as Raikkonen and Vettel DNF, and Hülkenberg ends up in 18th behind the Williams, as Stroll ends up getting that 10th position, as we are nearly 5 seconds behind him. If we look at the constructors, we are 7th, and the only movement was Alfa Romeo up to 8th position. And we'll see you next time out in Spain.